India marks 75 years of independence and the 8th decade of its constitution. It's a timely moment to reflect on the core principles that have shaped the country. The Union government is planning a year-long celebration starting November 26 to commemorate 75 years of adoption of the Constitution of India, with President Draupadi Murmu leading the celebrations at the Central Hall of Old Parliament Complex today. The Constituent Assembly in 1949 had adopted the Constitution, which came into effect on January 26, 1950. November 26, which was earlier celebrated as Law Day, was declared the Constitution Day through a Gazette notification in 2015. While President Murmu will lead the celebrations, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also take part. During the joint sitting, a commemorative coin and stamp will be released along with copies of the Constitution in Sanskrit and Maithili languages. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi has shared a video on his social media and he has wished countrymen on the 75th Constitution Day.
हमारा संविधान हमारी गाइडिंग लाइट है।
ये सिर्फ अनेक धाराओं का संग्रह नहीं है। हमारा संविधान सहस्त्रों वर्ष की भारत की महान परंपरा, अखंड धारा, उस धारा की आधुनिक अभिव्यक्ति है। और जब हम इस संवैधानिक व्यवस्था से जनप्रतिनिधि के रूप में ग्राम पंचायत से लेकर के संसद तक जो भी दायित्व निभाते हैं, हमें संविधान के लेटर एंड स्पिरिट को समर्पित भाव से ही हमें अपने आप को हमेशा सज्ज रखना होगा। आज पूरे सामर्थ्य से अपनी सभी विविधताओं पर गर्व करते हुए यह देश आगे बढ़ रहा है और इन सब के पीछे हमारी सबसे बड़ी ताकत हमारा संविधान है। हमारे संविधान के प्रेम्बल की शुरुआत में जो वी द पीपल लिखा, ये सिर्फ 3 शब्द नहीं, वी द पीपल एक आह्वान है, एक प्रतिज्ञा है, एक विश्वास है। संविधान में लिखी ये भावना उस भारत की मूल भावना है जो दुनिया में लोकतंत्र की जननी रहा है।
And let's give you some more details about why we celebrate Constitution Day, why this is of course celebrated. 75 years of course of Constitution Constitution adopting have been completed of course today. Let's quickly, could we go please to the start of the slide? Let's quickly go to the start of the slide. So why do we celebrate this day, and of course why is it important to commemorate this occasion? Well, to honor the Constitution's adoption, this day of course is celebrated on the 26th of November. It marks the adoption of the Indian Constitution and it is also of course commemorated and celebrated to remember Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar of course, could we just slow this down a bit please? Let's just slow down the slide so we are able to explain it better to our viewers. The day of course is also a day to reaffirm commitment to democracy. It reminds us of our duties towards safeguarding democracy and also promoting equality. To celebrate the rule of law as well, it enshrines the principle that no one is above the law, ensuring that laws are applied equally to all citizens, which is why of course it's also commemorated and celebrated. Fundamental rights are guaranteed to every citizens, such as the right to equality, freedom of speech and right to vote, etc. So it's to celebrate fundamental rights as well. It's also to promote social justice and equality. It abolishes untouchability, advocates for equal opportunities for women as well. Now these amendments have allowed the Constitution to adapt to changing times while remaining rooted in the original values of justice. So it's clearly of course to reflect on constitutional amendments as well. Remember, these of course constitutional amendments have of course happened over time and are very, very important as they enable the Constitution of course to stay relevant as well. Himanshu Bhatt, senior journalist, is joining us live. Himanshu Bhatt, a very important day today, of course Constitution Day as it's called, but a special occasion as it's 75 years of Constitution Day today. What are you looking forward to in the function at Parliament House today, and why is it important to celebrate such an occasion?
Celebrate. Well, first thing, as you said, 75 years, Amrit Kal we are entering into. And second thing, looking at the present context, present political dialogue, when people have the guts to come out with the red book with the red cover, with empty pages inside and say, this is the constitution, this government will change the constitution. Now, this sort of perceptions and this sort of narratives, when some people try to play within the country, it is very much necessary for people. It is very much necessary. It's a part of a duty of the government to say exactly what the constitution is and what the rights are under the constitution of each individuals are. Who will change the constitution or who will not change the constitution? It is for the people to decide, but the history says in 75 years, more than 80 times, amendments in the constitution were made by one political party. Amendments could be made, yes. I don't deny it. And I don't say no to that. Need of the time will make constitution flexible to suit the needs of the country, the society, and the people. But playing on the names of constitution, trying to score brownie points and creating misunderstanding in the society, that is what is not required and not needed. Those people must be severely dealt with, according to me, because constitution is supreme and it is above everything. The constitution can have amendments, that's all right, but then constitution cannot be abolished, cannot be coming out and saying in people that these people will change the constitution, trying to set a narrative. That is probably the reason, you must celebrate Constitution Day even more vehemently today, to make people aware of what exactly the constitution is and what the right is. And that's why, actually this 75th years celebration should coincide with that, that constitution has stood the test of the time. Our constitution has stood the test of the time. And despite making amendments, we are still a constitution-bound democracy, a country. And people trying to equate, reservations and constitutions and creating all sorts of misunderstanding among the masses. Actually, it's a duty of the government to come out with each and every point by point rebuttal and make it in public. That this is what our constitution is. If you do not know, please know it. And don't get into this, this narratives, wrong narratives which are being set up by people to, arouse the passions in the country. Uday.
All right, Rudra Vikram Singh, a lawyer also with us now live. Rudra Vikram Singh, how important is it to celebrate a day like Constitution Day today?
Yes, definitely. It's a very great day for people of India, for lawyers, if I'll say, because we belongs to that fraternity. And you can say the Constitution is the supreme legal document for any country, and for India, the largest democratic country. For this country, the Constitution, you can say, the supreme legal document by which everything governs, whether it is political parties, whether it is people of India, whether it is separation of powers. But when we celebrate the Constitution Day, we should also remember few things which we forget by time. We should also remember that Constitution was made by 289 members who has given their 165 days, continuous 165 days to make this constitution, which is available for us, by which the whole country is governing. But when we talk about the constitution, we talk about only one people. We also remember Sir B.N. Rao, who has given the draft of constitution, who has given the basic draft, and on that draft of constitution, the Constitution Assembly has discussed, that the Constitution Assembly has come with some amendment, and now on 26 November 1949 we got the Constitution which we have today. So we should remember all members' contribution in making of this constitution. And one last point, we should also remember that when we see the original copy of the constitution, we see there is a photograph, the Ram Rajya, Bhagwan Ram, Lakshman, Sita sitting with Hanumanji when we see the Ram Darbar. So when we see the main original copy of the constitution, the first page start with this. So we should also not forget that the country is
Yes.
governed by the constitution as well as the Ram Raj, and we should move forward to the Ram Raj. So these two things should simultaneously go ahead, and we with the people of India and the other politician and the other parties should also remember.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.